What is up, YouTube? What's up, guys? Today we're gonna do something totally different. We're not reviewing a statue. We are actually gonna be going into how you can get a display case just like this in your home for a particularly affordable price. Everything that you're seeing here was either purchased from Home Depot, Walmart, or a few little things on Amazon. I'm gonna put links in the description below where you can find all of these items. This has actually been a display option for a lot of people for a really long time. A lot of people have used these industrial shelves from Home Depot to display their larger and more heavy statues. However, I did come across Adam Prince's video on Facebook. This guy took a pretty simple idea and really brought it to another level with black backdrops, lights, the acrylic fronts. I did the same thing. I saw what he did. I messaged him. We talked for a really long time about it, about every little detail on how to make this the best display for the money. I pretty much did everything that Adam did. The lights, the acrylic, the exact same shelves. Mine, I got a different width and a different height because that went with my room a little better. So, yeah, having said that, we're gonna get into all the stuff that Adam did that I basically just kind of ripped off of him with respect. And then a couple of tiny little things that I did that was just my own personal taste. Just little things I thought that could clean it up just a little bit more, and I had access to those materials in my home already. So we're gonna get into all the materials used, how we did this, how much the whole thing costs, where you can get it all. And believe it or not, I did this whole thing in just a few hours, and it was a lot of fun to do, actually. I will be redoing my entire statue room with this setup eventually because I have a lot more larger scale statues coming that these defaults just won't be able to handle. So, yeah, let's get into the details. And I just threw a couple statues in here just so you can see the size and how they hold quarter scale. This is not going to be my permanent setup. I really just wanted to put something in here and up on the top so you guys can get an idea of what this thing can actually hold with some recognizable pieces. So let's get into it. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and let's see what we can do about getting a setup like this in your home. Stick around. Okay guys, let's take a closer look at the shelf unit. So we're gonna kind of go over just pretty much everything I can think of right now. So if you're wondering what shelf this is exactly, this is the 60-inch high, 36-inch wide, and 18-inch deep four shelf steel shelving unit, and in black. They do make a silver one, I believe. Obviously I went with the black. I figured just black everything out, it would look great. The shelves themselves were found on Home Depot. Now, I did have to order these online, and I did the pickup in-store option, or have them curbside pickup, whatever you want to call it. It took a couple days to come in, but I went ahead and snapped them up because whenever I looked for the shelf on the website, I noticed that they were on sale, actually. So normally these are $65 a piece, and that's the whole thing. But I was able to get these for $50 a piece, being on sale. So they do go on sale. Definitely keep an eye out if you want to save, I guess, about 30 bucks. You can definitely do that. So I just got super lucky. I went ahead and ordered, since I am going to be doing it for this whole wall over here to my left, I went ahead and just got all the ones I'm going to need. So if you notice these boxes over here, those are the other shelves that will be going over here to my left later on. Each box contains one shelf unit, so this is 2 shelf units. Typically, you would get a top shelf, a shelf here, and the bottom. Now, obviously I didn't need that many shelves because I did not want to put a bunch of smaller statues. Obviously I wanted to do more quarter scale and things that were a larger size. So, but that actually ended up working out really well because you get boards, the wooden part that the statues are actually standing on, you get one board, which is between 1/4 of an inch and half of an inch, closer to half of an inch thick, but it's like a particle board. Now, this says, the specification said that each shelf can hold around 800 pounds. That's awesome. Hell yeah, like 800 pounds, that's badass. But the particle wood, I think over time, especially being down here in Louisiana, it can get a little humid. So I had a concern that they might sag, especially with some heavier statues up here. But that worked out because I had extra boards left over because I did fewer shelves. So the bottom shelf down here is only one board, but I'll be putting smaller statues and things that are a little bit more lighter weight. Also, if there was any issue with the board ever, it really wouldn't go much further than just like an inch or two. But I really do not see that piece of wood on the very bottom going anywhere. I'm just gonna be mindful to not put particularly heavy stuff on that shelf. Now, this shelf here and this shelf here, those are doubled up. So you get 5 boards total per shelf. So I basically had enough room to come right here. And if you notice, there's a little bitty lip right here, and that's the second piece of wood. So the first piece of wood sits on this groove, so it goes right to that edge, and then I stacked the second one there and then covered with the fabric. So you can't even tell really that there are 2 boards there. Same thing up here. That's why it kind of sticks out just a little bit, because I do in fact have those 2 boards there supporting all of these a little bit more heavier statues. This guy right here is really heavy. That base is out of control. So that's pretty much it as far as the board. Now, what I planned to do was, it kind of, as I was putting the shelves together, I did notice that, oh, I can just use these extra boards that come with it. I actually planned on just buying some 1-inch nice, you know, really smooth polished kind of plywood, staining it, putting it in here. But I was able to save a little money and a little time by just using the boards that it came with. So that worked out really good. The one thing I think Adam did a little differently was Adam just went ahead and brought his black fabric to the sides here and then just left the front acrylic. Being that my shelving unit here is kind of on this corner, you actually do have the ability to come over here and get a side view of the statues and actually see what's going on, you know, towards the back, on a profile, which I really liked. It just kind of helps open it up. So that was another thing that I did that was a little different. The next thing we're gonna go over is the backdrop. So the backdrop, the fabric I got, I didn't want to just go, first of all, fabric is really hard to find right now because it is COVID and everybody's buying it up to make masks. That would probably mostly be my girlfriend, who is making masks full-time, as well as running her salon and doing a million other things. She's a badass. So I have a feeling she probably ended up buying it all, to be quite honest. But that's okay, because I got pretty resourceful, went to Walmart, started looking around, and I found 2 twin packs of what I believe was 84 inches long and 36-inch wide panels. Now, it was 2 black panels for 15 bucks, or $13.98, I believe, which ended up working out really well. So what I did was I started the first, what is it? The first brain fart curtain. Yeah, so I started it here and I just kind of laid it under the board and then let it fall behind here. And then what it does is it kind of drops a little lower than the board, comes back up, lays on top of this board, and then I just tucked it in. So that's one panel. So all of that is just, so basically starting from this back corner, coming down, back up, and then laying across here. Then I took the second panel, started it up there, dropped it down. It kind of goes behind the figures on the edge, comes back up, and then tucks into this board here. Now I had a little extra left from how long the fabric was, so I trimmed the end of it off, and it ended up being a really close to laying the last piece here. You will have a couple inches left over, but I was really impressed with how well the 1 pack of 2 panels, which I'll put a link in the bottom, worked out perfectly for this. So I did all of this fabric for around $14, $15, which you can't beat. I mean, I could have went and bought fabric. It would have looked a little thinner, more cotton. This is actually like a nice kind of textured, almost canvasy vibe fabric, which doesn't bounce the light a whole lot, and I just think it looks really good. I do need to get in here with the steamer and steam some of those wrinkles out. I think it could be a little cleaner. Might end up doing that. So that's pretty much how we did the fabric. Okay guys, so the next thing we're gonna talk about here is the lighting. Now, as you can tell, I have a lot of lighting going on over here with these LEDs. I think they make the figures look awesome. They really look fantastic. They make this model pop. It's awesome. So I love it. I think it looks good. It really, these lights, being that they go all the way around the room like this, are really good for filming. People really notice it when it come in. The first thing they say is the lighting looks so good. However, to me now, my taste is starting to change a little bit. And when I saw Adam's video, I noticed his lighting was a little bit more museum-esque. It had a little bit more of like an art gallery vibe, and I absolutely loved it. That was one of the first things I asked him, what is going on with the lighting? It looks great. So Adam, being the man that he is, he sent me the link to the lights he used. They are these awesome little, let me get down here and get the gimbal going. So you can see them. They're 1, 2, 3, and these are on Amazon. They came pretty quick. You get one, so basically they do sell them in a 6-pack where you can get these 6, and they all wire. There's like a 4-foot wire that comes from each one. You can tell that I ran the wire, I just hit it. So I would basically Velcro mount the lights where I want them. 1, 2, 3 per case, and then 1, 2, 3 per case. So one 6-pack took up 1 case for me. I then took all of the wire and ran them underneath using tiny little zip ties. Luckily, there's these little posts here, these little loops that I was able to kind of tack into. Ran it all the way around, all the way back, and then I have them Velcroed right on the back of the wall right there, so I can just unvelcro it if I need to change something, replace something, anything like that. I'm gonna put the link to these down on the bottom. Now, I'm also gonna give you the link where you can get an extension cord per light. So this has a 4-foot cord on it. So I went ahead and ordered the extensions. It's a pack of extension cords for each light, so you can have all the wire in the world to get back to your little power pack back there. However, I just got pretty creative. Those actually haven't shown up yet. They were on like I guess due to COVID, they were a part of a group of things I got that were gonna come much later. So I was like, well, let me figure out and see if I can go ahead and start wiring these the way they are. They seemed really close. I did have to get kind of creative with my wiring, but it's all hidden and everything works out really, really well. If I had any extra cord on some of the ones kind of more here in the middle, I just kind of wound them up, zip tied them together, and then hid them in the corner. It worked really, really good. I'm really happy with it. And yeah, it's not the full on 360 extra bright light where you're seeing everything. These actually, you can dial them in and they move around and they're on a little ball joint, almost like the head of an action figure. So you kind of point it where you want, and it really creates this, well, that's a lot of reflection, but it really creates this really good and just really effective mood on the statues. I just think they look even more epic than they already do. A little bit more like an art gallery or something like that. These are actually used in art galleries. Apparently, I saw on Amazon, they were showing a lot of pictures of these in people's homes, but also in like art galleries showing on art and, you know, acting like a little, like if you don't want to run track lighting, which I really want to add right there. That's the next project, I guess. But one thing at a time. ADD real bad. So Yeah, okay, so that's pretty much it for the lights. I'm gonna put the links to the lights at the bottom. Everything is really self-explanatory. It's really easy. They're all LED. They shouldn't really burn out. Really affordable. You'll see it all. Amazon can answer all the questions about the lights, but if you have something real specific pertaining to this project, go ahead and just comment below and I will get to you as quickly as I can. So, let's see what the next thing is. Okay, the acrylic. Now, I'm going to be honest, the acrylic was probably the hardest thing to find right now. I think we all know why. Everybody's buying it up for businesses so they can get back to work from the COVID nonsense BS that we've all been dealing with. But at least we get to play with fun projects like this, I guess. So, let me turn my iPad off here. Okay, so yeah, I looked everywhere for this acrylic. I was looking at places I didn't even know existed in my city, plastic distributors, giant warehouse facilities. I was just calling everywhere. Home Depot, obviously, Lowe's, obviously, checked all that first, and they were just not having anything. You didn't even give you the option to order so it would come in later because they had no idea when they were going to be getting more in. So I was like, wow, I really picked a great time to do this awesome project because there's absolutely no acrylic. You could get small little pieces, but I didn't want to do individual pieces in case I want to change this arrangement later. I might want to raise up a shelf, lower a shelf, take a shelf out entirely. So by doing just one panel per side, I can now fluctuate the shelves and not have to worry about the line of the separating acrylic. You know, breaking that up. Hey, kitty. And then, yeah, so definitely try to get, now, being that this was these are 60 inches tall by 36 inches wide, I basically just went and searched that. Now, one day looked on Home Depot again because why not check one more time? And then they actually noticed on one day randomly that it said they had limited stock available of 36 inches wide by 78 inches long or 74 inches long. I can't remember, but I knew it was longer than 60 inches and that's what I needed. So I got really excited. I threw on my clothes, hopped out of bed, told my partner, hey, gotta go see about some nerd shit, and I took off. Yeah, so got there, ran to the corner because I knew where the acrylic is because I'm that guy. And then I saw that they had 3 pieces in stock of what I needed, the size that I needed. So I went ahead and just grabbed them up. They were $70 a piece, a sheet. Now, that's pretty normal. I was looking at 4x8 sheets. They were around $96, and that would have been a lot wasted. So I went ahead and nabbed these up and I got all 3 because why not? So what I did was went ahead and I trimmed the piece of acrylic on one side. It was already the correct width, but it just was a little too long. So I found out where I needed to cut it. I put a aluminum ruler on the top, clamped it, and then I ran a box cutter over it about 1,000,000 times on that one, being really sure that I'm staying on the line of my ruler. I went lightly to create the score line, and then I went, and once I felt like I was about halfway through, I flipped the acrylic over, reclamped the ruler, did it again on the other side until I eventually just cut through. It actually went really smooth. I watched a YouTube video on how to cut it properly. This guy gave some really good tips on how to bend it to crack it so it wouldn't break the ends. Very informative. If you guys have any questions about cutting the acrylic and you don't understand what they're telling you and how to do it on YouTube, shoot me a message. I'll walk you through it. It was actually pretty easy. It's strenuous. My shoulder was sore for 2 days after from cutting that stuff. And then the third piece, so obviously these are the 2 out of the 3, and then the third piece, same thing, 36 inches. I trimmed the top, and being that my side panel was 18 inches, that's directly half of 36, I just cut a line right down the middle, and it was kind of hard to do. My cut line was pretty good, but not absolutely perfect, so I put the cut line to the back of the wall, and then left the factory cut line right there and made it all. So all my cut lines are down on the bottom. That way, if there was any imperfections, you won't notice them, and then you just get this really nice, clean look going on. Okay, so what's next? So the next thing we're gonna go over is how are these acrylic panels staying on here? I gotta give it up to Adam, man. The dude is, if he thought of putting Velcro on the acrylic, I think he did. I haven't seen anybody else do it. He was the first one. So as far as I'm concerned, Adam, you're a genius. Thank you from the collector community. But thanks for sharing too, because I took that shit. That was a great idea. Hey, kitty. And then I asked him, I was like, hey, look, I'm ordering all this stuff now. What size Velcro do I want? These metal panels here look nice and wide. So I was thinking 2 inches. 2-inch Velcro is kind of all over the place and you can find it pretty easy. He said, do not buy 2-inch. It's a 1-inch bar, trust me. So I went in and I got, on Amazon, I found 1-inch Velcro strips. So I put one side on the actual shelf itself, and then line that. So the first thing I did was put the Velcro on the shelf itself. That was first. This is really, 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 really important. This is the most important part of this video is gonna be this, because this is how you are not gonna mess up these very relatively expensive, super pretty clear panels. You want to put the Velcro on the shelf first, then leave the backing on it. Then what I did was, okay, I know that that's exactly where I want my Velcro. Then I measured each piece of Velcro and then wrote everything down, and then I cut the exact same strips of Velcro and then I stuck it to the glass. I'm going to add a video, a little time-lapse video of me doing that so you can see how it's done. And you just really want to double and triple check that you are getting your measurements right on the Velcro. When you go to put the Velcro on the acrylic, this is really, really important. It's detrimental that you figure out where you want to put it and you commit to sticking it. Now, when this adhesive on this Velcro in particular, the review said it was really, really good, and that's what I needed to hold these up. Now, this is pretty light. It's really nothing too crazy at all, but I still wanted it to lock on. I didn't want heat from Louisiana to kind of make it melt and fall off or whatever. So, but when the adhesive is really, really good and it grabs the acrylic really well. I can kind of pull it up on the metal a little bit. It's still grabbing it really well, but once it's on the acrylic, you're committed. You have to do it because you can't pull the Velcro up off of the acrylic. You will never, first of all, you just can't get it off. For some reason, it just grabs it. But also, it will smudge and mess up the acrylic and you will never get it off. You'll end up scratching the acrylic trying to get it off. So that is really important. Probably one of the most important things. That's an irreversible mistake that you can make on one of your most expensive items and hard to get items on this entire project, and that's the acrylic. So, you'll see in the video how I went about doing it. I definitely checked. Also, when I did all of this, I kept the film on the outside of the glass, so that way this acrylic comes with film on each side. When I was ready to put the Velcro on, I pulled all of the plastic off, added the Velcro, but kept it on this side so that way I could touch it and do whatever I wanted and it wasn't gonna mess it up. This stuff scratches really easy, so the very last thing you wanna do is pull the plastic off. Added the Velcro, we stuck the acrylic panels on, and it looked fantastic. Once the acrylic panels were on, then I went ahead and just pulled the clear off. I did a time-lapse video of that as well, which I'll add. And it's really, really satisfying to peel that layer off and just see your statues looking through crystal clear acrylic. Worked out really, really, really well. So that is pretty much where the advice from Adam stopped, and that's where the project pretty much ended. However, I wanted to do something. Now, this is the one thing that I added, and it's just my personal taste. Whenever behind here, the glass is obviously clear, so you can see the Velcro. See how it's Velcroed? I trimmed it to make it fit as good as possible, but you can tell that this Velcro on the glass, you would see through it, and you can see the adhesive marks on here. Now, from far back, it's black on black shelves and everything. And you know, it's not that bad. Like, you can see the adhesive through the glass, but it doesn't look too bad. But I do vinyl signage, and I have a vinyl plotter. My partner does like iron-on stuff for clothes, and so for cosplay stuff, we basically just got a vinyl plotter. I used to do vinyl signs before I was tattooing full-time, and yeah, basically we still do it now. So I noticed that I had the end of a matte black roll of black. So I unrolled it, and I literally had like 65 inches. It was perfect. It's 24 inches wide by 65 inches long was the end of the roll. I'm gonna put a link to the website if you guys decide you wanna get some of that and do that too. I basically, on the back side of the vinyl, it's gridded out. There's all these little squares. So I was able to kind of I just cut strips to the size that I need. This top one is a little bigger than all the rest are 1 inch. This one, because of the way the glass sits on the shelf, and whenever you see it, you'll understand when you get to this part, but I had to make this one like 1 3/8 inches, just a little bit taller to compensate. But everything is pretty much 1 inch. I have a video of me laying this on. Now, the vinyl, if you get the same vinyl I got, which I'll put the link down below, you will notice that cut it in strips with the backing on, and then you just lay it down like pinstripe, and you actually just use the Velcro as your guide because your Velcro is already on the acrylic. I kind of just made sure I would pull off about 1 foot and then guide it down, starting here, and just push your way down so you don't get any bubbles. If you do get little bubbles, take a razor blade and just kind of poke the little bubble and then push the air out, and it'll seal and you won't see it. You might have a little tiny dot, but it's not that big of a deal. So all of this is 1 inch with the exception of the top. I went ahead and just did this just now, and I think it really cleaned it up. I mean, I knew it was gonna do something, but I didn't think it would clean it up that much. I feel like it took it from looking like you could almost kind of figure out what was going on with this whole unit, and now you almost can't. It really hid the illusion of the Velcro. Now, if you get up on it, you know, people start getting real nosy, you'll notice, yep, there's some Velcro here, and then you'll notice a little bit of a Velcro gap here, but it's really not that bad. And it's easy. You can pull it off by yourself. You can put it on by yourself. Now, this is 1/8 inch thick acrylic, so it's a little flimsy, but it's really light and easy to move by yourself. I would say since the vinyl was the very last aspect I did of this whole project, I think that's pretty much it, because I just did that today. But again, you guys can, you know, if you want to save a little bit of money, you can only buy 2 acrylic pieces and then just take your black background, buy an extra pack of that maybe, and cut you 2 panels to come down over here, and then you don't have to spend that extra $70 on the extra piece of acrylic. I just went for it and splurged. So I would say all in all, I think I did the math. I was in for this entire unit. Now that's talking both shelves, all the fabric, all the lights, the acrylic, the Velcro, and I had the vinyl already, so I'm not going to include that. But all in all, I would say this whole thing was $370. I think we all can agree that that's really not that much money, relatively speaking. That is like a fraction of what a few of these statues are. And for you to be able to display it in this kind of way with this much freedom, doing, you know, all these different sizes, different combinations of different shelving units, you really can get creative with it, but it's so inexpensive. You get so much bang for your buck, and I think it just looks awesome. It's very reflective right now because of all these lights on, just due to filming, but yeah, I mean, it's really cost effective. So you can start off with just doing one and see how it goes, and, you know, maybe make a couple of mental notes. And that's why I was like, let me do this wall first, and if, you know, there's anything I want to do later on and make it a little better, I'll go ahead and do that when I move it and do some over here. But to be honest with you, I'm gonna do it exactly the same because I'm so happy with how this came out. I did run all of my lights to one power pack, ran all of that to one plug here into there with the remote. So now I can just come over here. I'm gonna turn all these off so we can really see this, but let's do this. So now you can really see it. So just with this one little remote, I can click it off, click it back on. One remote, very easy. They sell those at Walmart too, by the way. If you are into the remote click, you can also get a smart plug for your Alexa and just say, hey, Alexa, lights. I think that's what Adam did. That's a really cool move. I already had the remote, so I wasn't worried about it. But now you can really see what these lights are doing. I also thought about adding an LED strip here too, in case I do want to flex some LED and really show you all the details of the statues. But these lights do a fantastic job. I feel like you can't really mess with that. Looks awesome. So before my dogs start barking, let's go ahead and wrap up. Yeah, again, I love it. I think it came out really great. I can't wait to add all my new statues to it that are gonna be coming. It's gonna get wild. Hang in there. And thanks for checking this out with me. Please, if you have any questions, holler at me and I will get back to you. Thanks everybody, happy collecting, and go build that damn shelf. All right guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this little episode here. This was a lot of fun. This is a really cool project. So again, we're gonna give you all the info on everything you're gonna need to create this same setup, even down to the vinyl. Pretty much it was a really fun experience. Huge thanks to Adam for answering all my questions. The dude talked to me for literally like a couple weeks. It was awesome. He just kept, I ordered this, it showed up. He was awesome. He nerded out with me the whole time, gave me a lot of really great advice. So if you guys have any questions about this, please just shoot me a comment and I'll go ahead and get with you and answer those really specific questions. But on your journey to doing this, a lot of the stuff will seem pretty obvious, and yeah, I think the only thing you might really want to grab up outside of everything I suggested was a big pack of small zip ties just for running wire and things like that. I also zip tied the frames together just so the whole thing had a really strong structure. But pretty much that's it. So thanks for tuning in. This was a lot of fun, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you guys on the next episode when we do the next statue. See you later.